Alrighty, folks, welcome to FCRB TV, and I've just recovered from the match today, opening day of the 2018-19 season. Arsenal hosting Manchester City, the defending league champions, Pep's boys, or Pep's men, I should say. But before I delve into what I thought of the Arsenal's performance in the game overall, I will just quickly summarize the first weekend in the Premier League, because it was quite it was kind of an anticlimax for me, because I was eager to see what Everton had to offer, West Ham had to offer. Even though Newcastle didn't really get to spend too much money, I really rate Rafa Benitez, and I wanted to see what they had for Tottenham, and they actually, they did a decent job. Newcastle, the guys, Rafa Benitez is a very good manager, and he always gets his guys to see out a plan and give a good account of themselves. And I felt that overall all the teams you could see were affected by the extra work that the World Cup, put a lot of players through. So, a lot of teams are going to get better. I think Everton will get better as the season goes on. West Ham, I was thoroughly disappointed with. I thought that I was expecting more. Maybe what I wasn't expecting, was just my expectations were too high for them. But they weren't good enough. I mean, Liverpool swept them aside. Liverpool looked real good. They looked just like themselves, really fast in the transition from winning the ball to getting into the other team's half and in behind the defense. They were quite fast in that, just like they were last season. So they're going to be tough. Man United and Leicester played on Friday nights, and United were United. Well, I shouldn't say United were United. They were a Mourinho side, Jose Mourinho side. They got the pen early on. I felt like the lad who gave away the pen, forgot his name, but he was foolish. Don't know why he would stick his shoulder out. Yes, hit your shoulder, but the way it looked like you were reaching out to use your arm. So they're gonna give it at Old Trafford. They're gonna give it. So he was foolish. United gets that early pen, and then they take off and hold on to it till they get that late insurance goal to boost it before Jamie Vardy made it 2-1. So it was a typical Mourinho performance, I think, and they're going to be getting a lot of those this year. I don't think that, even though they didn't spend as much money as they would have liked, I don't think that they're not going to challenge. I think they're going to be quite obstinate. They're going to be quite difficult for Liverpool, for City as well. Chelsea was whatever. Not worried about Chelsea. Don't want to talk too much about them because we play them next week. Well, I may have to because we play them next week. But what else did I see that I was kind of surprised with? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, you know what? Got up this morning, was excited for the Arsenal at home against City, as we've said. And, first of all, I don't know why we didn't start Torre in the game. I don't know why we didn't start him. We started instead Guendouzi and Xhaka in the middle. As you guys already know, I'm not a fan of Granit Xhaka. I'm not a fan. I was when we first signed him, but I don't think he's lived up to the billing, and I feel like he does nothing for us. I don't know what he gave us today, because I felt he was just out there. He was giving the ball away. Falling on the ball, taking too long. I mean, always getting caught in possession. And when you get caught in possession, that's because you never knew where you were going before you got the ball. So that means that when you got it, you're trying to figure it out. But when you play a team of that quality in Manchester City, you don't have that time. So Xhaka's over there just giving the ball away, starting counterattacks for Man City. Not good. Not good at all. I thought that Torre would have started the game. And again, it's probably because he just came back from the World Cup. But again, he lost in the quarterfinals, I believe. It was the quarterfinals he lost, and so he's had some time to get back and to be all right. You know what I mean? So I tell you, I wasn't happy with Xhaka. I guess I'll go through the whole lineup. As I said, the central midfield I thought was wrong. El Neni's available. I think El Neni should have played. I would have preferred El Neni and actually I would have preferred Toria and Ramsey in the center of the park with Ozil in front, but we didn't have that. And then I would have even taken Toria and Guendouzi or Toria and El Neni, you know. But Xhaka doesn't need to be playing, so I wasn't happy about that. You know, we started with Ozil and Mkhitaryan on the outsides with Aubameyang up front, and I tell you, not Aubameyang, Mickey let me down today. I was expecting him to be somebody who was going to be problematic for City, but Benjamin Mendy, you know, had him in his pocket. Benjamin Mendy was having a field day against us, you know, and he just didn't do enough. He wasn't threatening enough, and it was kind of sad to see that we couldn't really. I felt like City never really, you know, were threatened by us. They were never really concerned with what we had to offer. I thought that Ozil was better as he came into the middle of the park when we took off Ramsey. And even before Ramsey was taken off, you noticed that he started to drift into the middle of the park. So I'll get to Ozil and being in the middle of the park a little bit later, but that wasn't good enough. I thought it was unfortunate that Maitland-Niles got injured on that tackle with Kyle Walker. It was unfortunate that took place. And then Bellerin is Bellerin. I don't think he's going to get any better. I think he is who he is. What we're seeing now, he's plateaued. He's done. He's not getting any better, and that's what he's going to be. And, you know, some other Arsenal fans have been saying that they think that Lichtsteiner should start in front of him and take his place. I think that could happen. But, you know, because Bellerin is so young and he's got pace, you know, they might hold off, you know, a bit longer than they should with him, you know. But, you know, with Maitland-Niles getting injured and going off, and then Lichtsteiner came on and played left back, and he's a right-footed player. Let me tell you something. Lichtsteiner coming on and playing left back, the man was using his left foot the whole time, and he's not even left-footed. Only a few times did he cut back to his right foot to whip a crossing because he wanted to get a good one in. But there were some moments where he hit some left-footed crosses. They weren't the best, but he was still keeping the right back honest. He was keeping Kyle Walker honest and saying, listen, I'm playing on the left side, and you're not going to take advantage of me and force me down my left side, and I can't use my left foot. That was quite impressive. He showed his experience. He showed his quality. I was impressed with Lichtsteiner playing at the left back for us, because I remember back in the day when we had to go to Stamford Bridge, and Lauren was in our team at the time. Lauren was a great right back for us, the Cameroon international, and we had a crisis at left back. You know, I think that Gael Clichy was injured and things like that. So and Ashley Cole had gone by then. So we had to play Lauren at left back, and he had a hard time because he couldn't use his left foot. Kept trying to come back onto his right foot. Was giving away possession that whole game. I remember, and those for you diehard Gunners, you know what match I'm talking about. So Lichtsteiner never got caught, you know, trying to go to his right foot too much. He used his left foot like the whole time, which was awesome. And then when Lacazette came on, he was about the business, and he was you know, he was the most threatening guy that we had. I don't think Aubameyang did enough in the match. You know, he started to become a bit more lively when he got Lacazette on the field. You know, so this is what I'm getting at with the selection and the formation that we played. I think that, before we get there, let me talk about the center backs as well. As you all know, I am not a fan of Socrates, and Mustafi, we all know, can be dodgy. But I tell you what, those two center backs played well today. They didn't really put a foot wrong. They watched their P's and Q's. They were switched on, and they were ready to do a job. The goals that we conceded, you know, neither goal were the fault of the center backs. They were never the fault of the center backs. I thought that, as I said, you know, I bashed Socrates the last video, and I still don't rate him, but the man played well. So credit to him, and I'm thankful. Thank you for playing well at center back. And Mustafi looked good, you know. I mean, I think that, you know, he's a bit sharper, because I think Unai Emery and the staff are, you know, forced that out of all the players. And I could see that a bit, so that was kind of like a positive from the day, even though we didn't have that many. So the center backs were good. We talked about the outside backs, talked about the midfield, talked about the attack. Now, the goals that we conceded. The first goal, when the ball came from the right to the left, and I believe it was Benjamin Mendy that got it and rolled it out wide left to Sterling. Bellerin pops out to force him inside a little bit, which he came inside. But then the inexperience of Guendouzi allowed Sterling to continue on his right foot coming across the box. That's where the goal was conceded. You know, Matteo should have known better to allow him to go across the box. Note to all these young footballers out there, if you ever see a guy getting the ball and trying to run across the top of your box, he's running onto his dominant foot. He's going to shoot that ball. So you better not let him run across the box. That's the same thing that Ian Robben did to us in Munich in the last year we were in the Champions League, when they belted us 5-1 over there. And he ran across the box with his left foot, and Coquelin allowed him to just run across the box. Come on, man. If I'm remembering these things and I'm not in the team, how are these guys who play these games every day don't realize what people are trying to do? It's unacceptable. That first goal was a soft goal, and I thought Peter Cech could have done a better job with that strike. You know, he does look like he's on his on his P's and Q's as well, trying to, you know, keep a spot. But I thought Bernd Leno should have played today. I wasn't happy with seeing Cech in there again, and to give him the captain's band. Even though Cech really wasn't at fault for, well, the first goal I think he could have done better. The second goal, nah, he's not saving that. We'll get to that in a second. But I wanted Bernd Leno to play. I wanted the new era to start with. I thought that out of all the guys that we signed, Bernd Leno would definitely be the ones to start the match. You know, he didn't go to the World Cup. We've had goalkeeping issues. Man, give the guy the GK1 and let's go. I don't know what we're doing, so I wasn't happy about that. So, as I said, so the first goal, Matteo made a mistake, allowed the guy to run across the box. Sterling hits a shot that slightly deflects off Socrates. That's what they said. I didn't really think that it did, but they said that it did. And Cech didn't really die for it. It wasn't in the corner. You know, I mean, he saw it late or whatever, but maybe Leno would have seen it sooner. You know what I mean? So I don't want to blame Cech too much for that, but I thought it could have been better. So 1-0 at halftime. Second half, we're having opportunities to get back in the game. That's when Laka came on, and Laka had that chance, that the little half volley that he had, that he used outside of the right foot a little bit. He tried to just, like, you know, spin it over the top into the back of the net, but he hit it too much with the outside of the right foot, and it went wide of the post on the left-hand side. So we were getting some chances, and then they come running down, and this is the problem here. The goal that was scored, Lichtsteiner was marking Bernardo Silva, but Bernardo Silva checked back into the middle for the layoff from Benjamin Mendy. But when the layoff came, there were no central midfielders there. So even if Lichtsteiner let his man run into the middle, because he made a good run, he got away from his marker, there should have been somebody in the middle. Our two central midfielders were not there. There was no Xhaka. There was no Xhaka, and there was no Matteo Guendouzi. So I mean, that's the problem right there. And if you look at the replay, go back and look at it again. Mesut Ozil was closer to the box than Matteo was. That's little man. I shouldn't call him little. He's a good-sized guy, but young man, that's your spot. You've got to track back. You've got to get back in there. So you know what? He has to put his hands up for both goals, because it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. He didn't track back well enough. So that's 2-0. And you know, after seeing what, and here's the thing too. What saddened me the most is, as you know, all you footballers out there that are taking a view at this video, when you go out there and you play, even if you lose, you never want to be that easy team. You don't want to come off the pitch and the opposition felt like that was a walkthrough. Like I was a rehearsal. Like there was no sweat. These guys are cake. These guys, I don't rate these dudes. They don't scare me at all. I didn't feel like we could have almost lost. Nothing like that. You never want to be that team. And I felt like Man City was just like, it's Arsenal. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's make it quick. Let's go. And that's how I felt. I felt like we weren't tough enough, you know. They never felt like, yo, if we don't, just when it was inching into that region where they said that, oh, you know, Arsenal might be about it this year, we conceded the second goal. You know what I mean? And you know, it's like I feel like some of the players are just, you know, they look scared all the time. Bellerin looks scared all the time. Xhaka looks scared all the time, bro. I don't even know why this man is playing. I really don't know why this man is playing. I'm not feeling Xhaka at all. If I was the manager, he'd be out. For Chelsea, he'd be out. He'd be out. And speaking of Chelsea, you know, as we now look towards that game, I think that, you know, our best opportunity to be successful this season is having Mkhitaryan, Mesut Ozil, Aubameyang, and Alexander Lacazette on the field at all times to start the game. And how we're going to do that? We've got to go to a 3-5-2, man. We've got to go to a 3-5-2 because I think that will give us more solidarity in, if it's done properly, throughout the team. We'll be more potent up the middle because that's where Ozil will play. And then we'll have 3 center-backs on the field plus wing-backs. I think that we've got to go to that. You know what I mean? I think we've got to go to that. And I would actually, I mean, Wenger was trying to do it, but people were saying, what does he do when he's playing guys out of position? It's like, nah, that's really what we have to do, man. Because this one guy up front, like, I don't think Aubameyang one man up front in England is going to work. And I don't think Lacazette one man up front is going to work. You know what I mean? I think we have to play both of them up front at the same time. With Mesut, I think I've said this before, with Mesut Ozil underneath. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So I would play a 3-5-2 come Chelsea next week at the Bridge on Saturday afternoon. I'll put Bernd Leno in goal. I'm putting Bernd Leno in goal. Then my 3 center backs would be, I would go with Socrates in the middle. I would put Mustafi on the left-hand side, and then Mavropanos. That'd be my 3 in the back, right? Then I would go with the right wing back would be obviously. No, it's not obviously. Right wing back, I'll put Lichtsteiner. Right wing back. Left wing back, I'll put, depending on if anybody comes back from injury from the left-hand side, I'm hoping Nacho comes back. If Nacho comes back, Nacho's going to get that job. But if Nacho doesn't come back, I would put, what's-his-face, Bellerin at the left wing back. Yes, he's not left-footed, but I put him over there. Or if you want, put Bellerin back on the right and Lichtsteiner on the left, and we go from there. So that would be the 3 in the back and the 3 and the 2 wing backs. Then the triangle in the middle, I would go with Torreira as the 6. The 8, I will put Mkhitaryan, Henrik Mkhitaryan as the 8. As the 8 next to the link between the 6 and the 8 in the middle of the park. Then when Mesut Ozil playing the 10 in front of them. And I'm putting Mkhitaryan in the middle of the park because he can pass, he's got technique, and I'm going to tell him, look, you got to be Xavi for us, bro. You've got to be Xavi for us. You've got to get, once we win it now, we get it to you, you start the attacks for us. You know, he's got a good engine. We're going to get him on the ball more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put him there, yeah. Mesut Ozil in front of him, and then the 2 up front, Lacazette and Aubameyang. That's how we got to go with it. Because the 4-2-3-1 is not cutting it, man. Because with the 4-2-3-1, we're missing people. Certain guys have to come. Certain guys have to sit. And with the 3-5-2 that I just mentioned, yeah, Ramsey's not going to play. Sorry, Ramsey's not going to start. He can come off the bench, and you know, if Mickey's not getting it done, you put him in there. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to get more attacking and take one of the wing backs off, you put Ramsey into the middle of the park, push Mickey out to the outside or something, and we go. But that's how I see it. I feel as though that that formation will suit us better because I'm doing it for 3 people. I'm doing it for Mesut Ozil, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and Alexander Lacazette. Those guys all have to be at the same time. And I'm actually kind of doing it for Mkhitaryan as well. I think those are our 4 best players. They've got to be on the field, especially when we're playing the top 6 sides. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you what, every game is going to be hard for us. Every game. There's not going to be an easy game. So my fellow Gunners, we got to get ready. Every game is going to be a battle. You know, because I don't know if we have, you know, we don't have any alpha males in the team. Any guys who are going to, you know, pull us through, you know, some murky situations. You know, when the fight is on, it's hard for us. It's real hard. So I tell you, that's how I see it. I'm disappointed with the result today, but I'm a Gunner till the end. So I'm sure we'll bounce back. I mean, there's 37 games left. There's a whole season ahead of us. We can bounce back. We did play the champions. That's the only, I would say the only 2 bright spots were that we played Man City, so that we couldn't really get away with it. I think those were the defending champions, and what was the other? Overall, the guys, they kind of looked a little sharper due to the new management. So they looked a little sharper. They looked a little bit more attentive, but certain guys just don't need to be playing. I would say Peter Cech doesn't need to play anymore for us. And neither does Granit Xhaka. At least they can be substitutes. They can play in the Carabao Cup. They can play in the odd FA Cup game. They can play in the Europa League games that aren't big. That's how I would do it. And if they don't like it, they can leave in January. So that's where I am with it. It was tough today. I was really pumped all week. I was pumped. You know, when I saw Ruben Neves' free kick for Wolves against Everton, I was G'd up. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see our boys score so we can go mad as well. But nah, we didn't score a goal today. So we have to wait another week. I do think that Chelsea, you know, watching their game, I don't think that they're clearly not as menacing as City is. They're miles off of City, and I think that that's a game that we can, you know, really hurt them, and we should be able to get a result at the Bridge. So that's what I'm expecting. All the changes that I just mentioned, I know none of them will take place. We will come out in the 4-2-3-1 again. And hopefully it will be a better result, you know. But because we're playing a lesser side, slightly, we should be able to manage a bit more, I think. But yeah, so that's where it is. I will, you know, I just heard that Ousmane Dembele scored a wicked strike to win the Super Cup in Morocco for Barca against Sevilla 2-1. And what else did I hear? Oh, I was watching a bit of the German Super Cup, and Bayern ran riot 5-0 against Eintracht Frankfurt, and this man Lewandowski had scored a hat trick. I saw the first 2 goals he scored, then I turned it off because I was like, dude, Rebic wasn't playing because he's still recovering from all them games he played at the World Cup. So I was like, dude, they have no chance. So they got belted. Yeah, so let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Comment, let me know what you think. Fellow Gunners, give me your formation. Are you liking the 4-2-3-1? Do you like my 3-5-2? Holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying? So till next weekend, man, or something else pops off, you know, in the week, I might be back. But until then, it's gonna be the weekend, all right? So FCRB TV, ciao.